Hello, Internet. So today I figure the first pack that we'll crack open is the Star Pack. Starting off with this one because, it's supposed to be the weakest one out of the 5 that I got, at least as far as I can tell. And it just makes sense, I don't know what's going to be in any of these sets. Makes more sense to start off with the weak one, and then that way I'm not disappointed by everything I see, as opposed to going to one of the stronger ones and then coming back to this one and going, oh, that's just a sad card. So here's a fun little game. Guess how many cards I'm going to get the name of wrong. I'll give you a hint. There's 50 cards in the set. If you guess more than 50, I don't know what to tell you. And just get that out of the way. And let's just get into it. Now, I'm kind of hoping I actually get, you would think that distribution, I'd get a decent amount of the cards. So, Trickstar Narcissus. Stats are okay. If your opponent takes effect damage, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. That's okay. You can only use this effect once per turn. Each time your opponent activates a monster effect in their hand or graveyard, inflict 200 damage to them immediately after it resolves. Huh. That's, that seems okay. I have Link Bumper. Once per turn, at the end of the damage step, if your monster this card points to attacks an opponent's Link monster, you can activate this effect. The monster that attacked gains 1 additional attack on an opponent's Link monster during this battle phase. For each Link monster you currently control, except this card. Your monsters except that monster cannot attack the turn you activate the effect. So you can attack with one monster multiple times, but only against Link monsters. And it has to be the one either directly in front of or directly to the left of this card. That doesn't seem that good. I'm sorry. And Gookie Suprex. Well, this card is normal summoned. You can special summon 1 Gookie monster from your hand. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add 1 Gookie from your deck to your hand, except Gookie Suprex. You can only use the effect once per turn. That's okay. So far, oh, I see what they're talking about with the star foil. There's a weird little foil thing. You can sort of see it when I tilt when I tilt the card. The especially over here where it has the star foil thing over the card. I honestly did not notice it at first. That's actually very hard to see unless you're looking at it with the naked eye and you're actually tilting it. So those aside, I've got one pile for the star cards and one for the commons. So we've got Gookie Rematch. 2 Gookie monsters in your graveyard with different levels. Special summon them in defense position. You can only activate 1 per turn. That's all right. Easy way to get out summoning material. Another Trickstar Narcissus. 2 packs in and I'm already getting reprints. And Jack Wyvern. You can banish this card and one face-up machine monster you control. Target one dark monster in your graveyard. Special summon it. I mean, that's... You're tributing 2 monsters, but it lets you fetch anything out of the discard, so, I mean, that's not too bad. Two packs in, so far my opinion of the set is, it's alright. Dark Angel. 5-star monster, 0 attack, 0 defense. When your fairy monster is targeted for an attack, you contribute it and send this card from your hand to the graveyard. Then target one face-up monster you control, change the attack target to your target monster, and if you do, it gains attack equal to the original attack of the tributed monster until the end of the turn. So I have to tribute a monster on the field that's being attacked, and this card, to send them both to the discard. Or, yeah, so I tribute one on the field and this card from my hand, and I can make them fight something else and it gains the attack. I mean, that's... I mean, if you're going to lose the fight anyways and you can switch it over to something better, that's not too bad. Fire Prison. All dragon monsters gain 300 defense. I mean, that's alright, I guess. If any link monsters are on the field, neither player can link summon a link monster with a lower link rating than the highest link rating on the field. That seems alright if you have a good way of, if you have a high link monster. Monsters cannot attack except link monsters. Apply the following effect when 2 or more Cyberse link monsters are on the field. Negate the activated effects of Cyberse monsters. They cannot attack, cannot be targeted for attacks, and cannot be targeted by card effects. So, is this card meant for dragon monsters, or is it meant for link monsters? Like, I'm not sure how many dragon link monsters there are, but this seems to be 2 completely different archetypes here. And Hackworm. If your opponent has no monsters, you can special summon it from your hand. I mean, that's alright. It gives you a easy special summon on first turn. And I'm just going to pause it here because for some reason my camera's doing something weird. Okay, sorry about that. Turns out when you delete stuff on the camera, it does not actually delete it until you go in and tell it to delete it fully. So I had getting a low storage warning popping up. So next pack we have Pulse Mines. If you control a machine monster, change your opponent's attack position, if any, to defense position, and until the end of the turn, if a monster is normal or special summoned to your opponent's field, change them to the defense position. That's alright. I honestly can't complain about that. I mean, it does what it does. Gateway Dragon. If your opponent controls a link monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon Gateway Dragon once per turn this way. Once per turn, you can special summon one level 4 lower Dark Dragon monster from your hand. I mean, that's alright. Stats are a little but I mean, it gives you a... can special summon itself. Can special summon Dark Monster with it. And Altergeist Prime Banshee. 2+ Altergeist monsters. During the main phase, quick effect, you contribute one other Altergeist monster. Special summon one Altergeist monster from your deck to your zone. This card points to. That's an alright effect. I mean, it lets you filter through your monsters faster. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can target one Altergeist card in your graveyard, add it to your hand. You only use each effect once per turn. I mean, that's... yeah, I mean, that's alright. have Capacitor Stalker. While this card is normal summoned, you can target one other Cyberse monster you control. While this face-up monster is on the field, that monster gains 800 attack. If this card is in the machine zone and the monster zone is destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard, each player takes 800 damage. You can only use this effect once per turn. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, I honestly have nothing more to say other than it's okay. Altergeist Protocol. Activation and effects of Altergeist cards activated on your field cannot be negated. When your opponent activates a monster effect, you can send one other face-up Altergeist card you control to the graveyard. Negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. You can only use this effect once per turn. And Trickstar Candina. While this card is normal summoned, you can add one Trickstar card from your deck to your hand. Each time your opponent activates a spell or trap, inflict 200 damage to them immediately after it resolves. I mean, that's okay. Curious to see if the Trickstars are all just about punishing your opponent for playing the game. Oops. We have Defect Compiler. Once per turn, if you would take damage from an opponent's card effect, place one defect counter on this card, max 1. Once per turn, quick effect, you can remove one defect counter from this card, target one Cyberse monster you control, gains 800 attack. I mean, that's okay. Stops you from taking damage from an attack. Buffs the attack of a monster you control. You have another Jack Wyvern. And Backup Secretary. If you control Cyberse monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon Backup Secretary once per turn this way. Yeah, I mean, it's okay if you're playing Cyberse. Gives you an extra summon material very quickly. We have another Fire Prison. I'm still not sure if this is, like, what deck would you run this in? Because it buffs dragons, but everything else hits either Link monsters or Cyberse monsters or Link Cyberse monsters. Crackling Dragon. Cannot be destroyed by battle with a monster with equal or lower level. I mean, it's level 8. That's can't complain too much about that effect. When your opponent normal or special summons exactly one monster and no other monsters are summoned, while this monster is on the field, you can make that monster lose attack equal to its level times 200 until the end of turn. And if you do, deal that damage to your opponent. Like, this just seems like a good card overall. I'm not sure why people would have a problem with that. Salvagent Driver. If a Cyberse Link monster you control is destroyed by an opponent's card effect while this card is in your hand or graveyard, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card. You can discard one spell, then target one Cyberse monster in your graveyard, special summon it, but it cannot attack directly this turn. You can only use each effect of Salvagent Driver once per turn. Like, I'm guessing the Cyberse things are supposed to be, you use them to for quickly getting out the link monsters. Because it seems so far that they have a lot of stuff that deals with special summoning and relying on link monsters. Gookie Rice Scorpio. If you control no monsters, or all monsters you control are Gookie monsters, you can normal summon this card without tribute. That's alright. If this card is sent from your field to the graveyard, you can add one Gookie card from your deck to your hand except Rice Scorpion. You can only use this effect once per turn. Or Rice Scorpio, I should say. Like, I'm noticing a trend with the Gookies where they enjoy summoning the other ones. I'm guessing, going by the outfits they're wearing, that they're supposed to be wrestler themed. You have another Link bumper and another Gateway Dragon. Like, Gateway Dragon doesn't seem to be too bad. I could see running them. And as well as the 8-star cannot be destroyed by battle. Speaking of, so we've got another Crackling Dragon. Altergeist Silquitos. Quick effect, you can return one of the Altergeist you control to the hand, then target one card your opponent controls, return it to the hand. I mean, that's a decent enough effect. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can target one Altergeist trap in your graveyard, add that card to your hand. I'm getting the feeling that the whole thing for the Altergeist is shenanigans. And another Rice Scorpio. Like, I kind of want to say the Altergeists seem to be, here's a bunch of stuff involving other Altergeists, but that seems to be the same thing with a lot of them. Dot Scraper, or Dot Scapper. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can special summon this card. If this card is banished, you can special summon this card. You can only use one Dot Scaper effect per turn, and only once that turn you can only use each effect once per duel. I mean, it's 1-star monster, 2100 defense. I mean, it's not bad, and it seems like it'd be very annoying to deal with. We have another Gookie rematch. And Flick Clown. If you control at least 2 other Cyberse monsters and have no cards in your hand, you can pay 1,000 life points, draw 1 card. You can only use this card once per turn. That seems like a lot of hoops to jump through to draw 1 card. Like, I know card draw can be powerful. But that no cards in hand part, plus needing to have 2 other monsters on the field, plus paying 1,000 life points, makes it's one too many hoops to jump through. At least in my opinion. So we have Cyberse Wizard. Once per turn, you can target one attack position opponent monster. Change it to defense position. If you do for the rest of the turn, your monsters cannot attack except to attack that monster. And if your Cyberse monster attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage to your opponent. I mean, it's a decent enough effect. And I know for the most part, attack tends to be higher than defense, and it seems like a decent way to deal with opponents' big monsters. Got another Pulse Mines and another Defect Compiler. I've got a Jack Wyvern. Altergeist Protocol. Yeah, we've seen that one already. And another Trickstar Narcissus. I think the last few packs of this are just going to be me going, yep, these are the cards in here. Oh, Gookie the Great Ogre. 2+ Gookie monsters. All monsters on the field lose attack equal to their original defense. If this card would be destroyed by battle or a card effect, you can destroy one of your monsters this card points to instead. That actually seems pretty good. It looked like all the Gookies were 0 defense. Personal spoofing. Once per turn, you can shuffle one Altergeist monster from your, or one Altergeist card from your hand or face up on your field into the main deck. Add one Altergeist monster from your deck to your hand. Very good for thinning out the cards, at least. Altergeist Marionetter. Or not thinning out, but fetching exactly what you need. When this card is normal summoned, you can set one Altergeist trap directly from your deck to your spell and trap zone. Oh, that's okay. You can target one Altergeist card you control and one Altergeist monster in your graveyard. Send that card on the field to the graveyard, and if you do special summon that other monster, you can only use this effect once per turn. You know, being able to retrieve exactly what you need from the deck or graveyard is always a good thing. So we have another Flick Clown. Air Cracking Storm. Equip only to a machine monster. When that attacking monster destroys your opponent's monster by battle, you can activate this effect. It can make a second attack during the battle phase. Your other monsters cannot attack the turn you activate this effect. You know, that is not bad at all. Kind of sucks about not being your other monsters not being able to attack, but I mean, if you've got the what was it, Crackling Dragon, the 3000 attack one, you know. Link Slayer. If you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. Once per turn, you can discard up to 2 cards and destroy that many spell trap. Then target that many spell traps on the field and destroy them. I mean, that's all right. Turn any card in your hand into Mystical Space Typhoon is never a bad thing. I mean, 2000 attack, you can special summon them. Altergeist Camouflage. Target one Altergeist monster you control. Equip this card to it. Your opponent cannot target it for attacks, but it does not prevent your opponent from attacking you directly. Negate an opponent's monster effect that activates by targeting the equipped monster. If an Altergeist card you control will be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. So basically, your opponent cannot target one of your Altergeists. Period. Cyber's Beacon. If you took damage by battle or an opponent's card effect this turn, add one level 4 or lower Cyber's monster from your deck to your hand. You can only activate one beacon per turn. I mean, it doesn't say direct damage, so I mean, it's a decent enough effect. Gookie Twist Cobra. Quick effect, you contribute one Gookie monster, then target one Gookie monster you control. Gains attack equal to the original attack of the tributed monster until the end of turn. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add one Gookie from your deck to your hand, except this card. I mean, being able to tribute one, fetch out a Gookie from your deck, add it to your hand, and add the attack on, that's nothing to complain about. I mean, if nothing else, the Gookies seem like they'd be a fun archetype to run. 3 Strikes Barrier. If your opponent controls exactly 3 cards, activate one of these effects. This turn, your monsters cannot be destroyed by battle. This turn, you take no battle damage. This turn, each time your monster inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you gain the same amount of life points. That seems very annoying to try to pull off, though. Rise Scorpion and Pulse Mines. Like, I'm not sure how often you'd get the... your opponent would have exactly 3 cards on the field. So we have another Trickstar Candina. Honeybot. Neither player can target monsters this card points to with card effects, and those monsters cannot be destroyed by battle. No. You know, it's the fact that it's neither player can target monsters that this card points to that I'm not sure how often you'd use it, because I know, like, it looked like a bunch of the Cyberse monsters were, oh, target a Cyberse monster you control, and this seems kind of counterproductive to that. Sniffer Dragon. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can add 1 Sniffer Dragon from your deck to your hand. Alright. I mean, it thins out your deck, so can't complain too much about that. Stats are nothing to write home about, but I mean, it's more the... you can just use it to thin out your deck quickly, and you can use it for link summons. There we go. Now we've got another Sniffer Dragon, another Defect Compiler, and another Personal Spoofing. Like, I won't lie, so far, like, the Altergeist cards seem good. The Cyberse one I'm going to have to look a little bit more into after this to see. And the Gookies seem like they'd be a silly and entertaining deck. We have another Personal Spoofing. Trickstar Lilybell. If this card is added to your hand except by drawing it, you can special summon it from your hand. You can only use this effect of Trickstar once per turn. This card can attack directly. That's alright. I mean, only 800 attack, but when it inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can target 1 Trickstar monster in your graveyard and add it to your hand. So you can use... So you could use her, attack with her, bring one of her from the graveyard back to your hand, immediately play her, and attack with her again? I mean, if that's how that actually works, that's a pretty decent little trick. And another Link Bumper. We have another Backup Secretary, another Altergeist Marionetter, and another Cyberse Beacon. Oops. Security Block. Target 1 Cyberse monster on the field. Neither player takes battle damage. Also, that monster cannot be destroyed by battle. I mean, decent enough combat trick. Gookie Suprex. I think we saw this one already. When it's normal summon, you can special summon 1 Gookie from your... Yeah, we've seen this guy already. And another Fire Prison. Don't don't think we've seen this one yet. The Thunder Ogre. If a monster this card points to is destroyed by battle or card effects, you can make this card gain 400 attack. The turn player applies the following effect while this monster is on the field. During their main phase, they can normal summon one monster from their hand to their zone this card points to, in addition to their normal summon / set. They only gain this effect once per turn. Oh, that's not a bad one at all. And Altergeist Prime Banshee. I think we saw this one already. From your deck, this card points to. This card is sent from the field graveyard. You can target one Altergeist. Yeah, I think we saw this one already. So we've got another Gookie Suprex, Hackworm, and Altergeist Protocol. Dual Assembworm. If this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can banish 2 other Cyberse monsters from your hand and or face up on the field. Special summon this card, but its attack becomes halved. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like, I guess it'd be worth it just to special summon it, but it also requires you to tribute 2 monsters already, though. I mean, from your hand. If it's in the graveyard, yeah, that's a different matter. You can only use the effect once per turn. Once per turn, you can banish 1 card from your hand, banish 1 monster on the field with attack less than or equal to this card's. How often would you special summon this card from your hand by tributing the 2 monsters, as opposed to just normal summoning it with the 2 monsters? Because, I mean, even its other effect really doesn't work well with the having its attack. Linkbelt Wall Dragon. Cannot be normal summoned / set. Must be special summoned by its own effect. When you link summon, you can special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, place 2 counters on it. If a monster is link summoned, remove 2 of these counters from this card, or all if less than 2. Once per turn during each standby phase, place 1 of these counters on this card. No monster can be link summoned unless this card has at least as many of these counters as that monster's link rating. Monsters cannot attack except link monsters. So it basically just acts as a wall to slow down link summons, if I'm reading this correctly. If a monster is link summoned, remove 2 of these counters, or all of less than 2, put 1 on. No monster can be... Yeah, so it slows down link decks. Dragonoid Generator. Activate this card by paying 1,000 life points. During your main phase, you can special summon 1 Dragonoid token. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of the turn. Also, during the end phase, your opponent special summons 1 Dragonoid token to their field and attack position. You can use this effect up to twice per turn. So you pay 1,000 life points, you get a token. You can't special summon from the extra deck, but it also clogs up your opponent's field by giving them tokens. But then they could just turn around and use those tokens for special summons because it's only on you for that restriction. It's not on your opponent. So, got another Trickstar Lilybell, another Trickstar Candina, Won't lie, I was kind of hoping that this was going to be a third Trickstar card, just so that way it'd be, you know, nice Trickstar pack. Instead, we got this backlinker. What is it supposed to be? It's like some weird dinosaur thing with a satellite dish on its tail. If only your opponent controls a monster in the extra monster zone, you can special summon this card from your hand. I mean, that seems decent enough. You can tribute this card, shuffle all monsters from the extra monster zones into the deck. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of the turn. Okay, so you can tribute it. Cards in the extra monster deck go. I'm assuming that means into the extra deck, not into the actual player's deck. Yeah, I mean that seems like an all right. Your opponent has a big monster that they want in the extra zone that you want to make go away, or you want to pull out one of your own because the arrows aren't working out for you or something. So we've got another Dragonoid generator, another Dotscaper, and another Altergeist camouflage. Oh, I haven't been keeping track of how many cards we've seen, so I'm not sure if we've actually seen all 50 yet. And immediately the pack proves me wrong. Trickstar Lycoris. Quick effect, you can reveal this card in your hand and then target one Trickstar monster you control except this card. Special summon this card, and if you do, return that monster to the hand. Each time a card is added to your opponent's hand, inflict 200 damage to them. I mean, that seems like a decent enough effect. Stats aren't the best, but I mean, if you have some way of protecting them, because they are fairies. Another backlinker, and another cracking dragon. Got a Altergeist Prim Banshee, Twist Cobra, and another Cracking Dragon. Link Slayer, Salvangent Driver, and Altergeist Selquitos. Honeybot, which once again, like, it's nice that it protects the cards on either side of it. Your opponent can't target them, but you can't target them either, and that seems... I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that target other things that you control, and... Link Restart. When a spell / trap or monster effect is activated that would inflict damage to you, negate the activation. And if you do, special summon one Link monster from your graveyard. That actually seems like a pretty nice effect. Bitron. It's a normal card. 2000 defense, level 2. I mean, that's decent enough if you need a level 2 monster. Prim Banshee and Dotscaper. Stack Reviver. If this card is used as material for a Link summon, you can target one other level 4 or lower Link or Cyberse monster in your graveyard that was used as material for that link summon, special summon it in defense position. I mean, that seems like it'd be decent enough with the Bitron. Draconet. When this card is normal summoned, you can special summon one level 2 or lower normal monster from your hand or deck in defense position. I mean, once again, seems like it'd be good with the Bitron. Trickstar Light Stage. When this card is activated, you can add one Trickstar monster from your deck to your hand. Once per turn, you can target one set card in your opponent's spell and trap zone while this card is in field zone. That set card cannot be activated until the end phase, and your opponent must activate it during the end phase or else send it to the graveyard. And every time a Trickstar monster you control inflicts battle or effect damage to your opponent, inflict 200 damage. That seems alright. Lets you add a Trickstar to your hand immediately. Once per turn, you can just point to an opponent's spell or trap and say, you can't play that until the end, and if they don't play it at the very end of the turn, then it goes away. Another Link Belt Wall Dragon. Another Altergeist Camouflage, and another Twist Cobra. They have a Air Cracking Storm, another Dark Angel, and another Pulse Mines. Yet another Prim Banshee, Cracking Dragon, and Silcotis. Another shiny Gateway Dragon, Flick Crown, and Gookie the Great Ogre. Got another Altergeist Protocol, another Link Restart, and another Honeybot. Altergeist Conquery. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, if you control an Altergeist card, you can special summon this card from your hand. And if you do, negate that attack. I mean, that's alright. If it's special summoned, you can target one face-up card your opponent controls, negate the effects of that card while it and this monster are face-up on the field. Huh. I mean, that doesn't seem like a bad card at all. And Security Block and Marionetter. Twin Triangle Dragon. Yeah, so this one even specifies that you cannot use tokens for it. So you can't even use the dragon tokens for this guy. Not quite sure why you'd use that card then. While this card is link summoned, you can pay 500 life points, then target one level 5 or higher monster in your graveyard, special summon it to your zone. This card points to, but it cannot attack this turn. Also has its effect negated. I mean, I'm guessing that you'd use this if you want to pull out something for immediately going into a larger link summon with. And I guess I shouldn't say that I can't think of why you would use the card that makes the dragon tokens, because you could, pay 2,000 life points, get 2 tokens, immediately tribute them for a level 8 monster. Sniffer Dragon, and another Lilybell. A shiny Cyberse Beacon, Salvagent Driver, and 3 Strikes Barrier. So it's most of what we're seeing now is stuff we've already seen, but there is the odd one, the odd card that hasn't been seen yet. The font on Flick Clown is very unfortunate, because when I quickly flip through them, it looks like it's saying something completely different. Draconet, Cyberse Beacon, Ray Scorpio, another Backlinker, Great Ogre, and Security Block. Dotscaper, Stack Reviver, Cracking Storm, another Thunder Ogre, Marionetter, and Salvagent Driver. Oh, Decode Talker. Gain 500 attack for every monster this card points to. When your opponent activates a card or effect that targets some card you control, you contribute one monster this card points to, negate the activation. If you do, destroy that card. Believe he is actually in, I think it was the Dual Devastator pack. So, I mean, they're considering him a staple card, so, and he has a nice effect. Dual Assembworm and Trickstar Lycoris. Another Salvagent Driver, 3 Strikes Barrier, and Trickstar Narcissus. Another Twist Cobra, another Dragonoid Generator, and Defect Compiler. Another Link Bumper, Jack Wyvern, and Gateway Dragon. And the last pack, we have a Altergeist Marionetter, another Bitron, and Gookie Rematch. So that's everything from that box. Overall, I mean, I can definitely see where people were coming from by saying it's not a good set. From what I understand, it's all reprints. And there's a few cards that are making me scratch my head. The B especially. But for the most part, I mean, it's all right. I paid $40 Canadian for the pack, or for the booster box. I mean, that works out to less than $1 per pack. I definitely, because I have not played in years, I definitely do actually think I got my money's worth out of it. But going to be doing a jump cut, and I'll let you know exactly which cards I got the most of and which ones I got the least of. So be back in a moment. So after sorting the cards and just doing a quick count of each, I do have either a play set or just over a play set or just under a play set of most of the cards. There are 6 that I've got 5 copies of, though. So we've got the Crackling Dragon, Pulse Mines, Prim Banshee, Twist Cobra, Salvangent Driver, and the Marionette. Each one of those I managed to pull 5 copies of, and coincidentally enough, or not, 6 cards that I got exactly 1 copy of. Trickstar Light Stage, Cyberse Wizard, Altergeist Kunquery, Decode Talker, which I'm not too broken up about only getting 1 of him. I mean, I have 2 other copies of him, if you saw my previous videos. Twin Triangle Dragon, and Capacitor Stalker. So the good news is I actually got a full set of cards, and hopefully it shouldn't cost too much to pick up any missing copies for what I want. But that was just a quick look. I will admit, I am happy that I was honestly expecting it to be a case where there'd be 1 card that you'd get like 10 copies of, and everything else would be like, well, here's 2 copies of this card, here's 1 copy of this card. That, for the most part, it actually does seem to be around 3 copies of each card per pack. Actually isn't that bad. Would I buy the Star Packs again in the future? Probably not. I would actually take a look and see what they have in them first. But overall, do I regret buying this one? No, because, like I said, I got it for about $40 Canadian. I think the store I got it from was actually clearing it out, so... I mean, it's not bad when you have none of the cards in the set. But, so, thank you for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. You know the routine. And see you later.